Now we're going over to the big story of D-Levy. 2 nights ago, was it Tuesday night, the government of Ghana passed a new tax in Parliament. We're going to give you the details of the taxes, and the tax was explained as having been passed on the back of imploding energy sector debt. The government says that energy sector debts are so high that if this tax is not passed to raise revenue specifically for the energy sector, then there would probably be a meltdown in what we call in Ghana doomsday, which means there will be power crisis and that there will be no electricity for people in their offices, in their homes, and in the factories. So the government is campaigning with the people that please accept to pay 1 Ghana cedi on each liter of petrol so that we can raise this. People raise questions about an old similar levy called the ESLA, and which was also set up by the NDC government of President John Dramani Mahama back in the day. Well, the government's response is that the money that was saved in ESLA has been squandered by the outgone New Patriotic Party government led by Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. Tonight, we're getting into all of those details. To find out, we'll first show you the real impact that the new levy, which the NPP christened as D-Levy, which means Dupso levy. That's the real impact of that on whether you are doing an Aboboya, whether you have a Hyundai Express, or whether you have a Toyota this, or whether you have a Sprinter, or whether you are going to Accra, Kumasi with the big bus. What is the impact going to be, and when the total capacity of fuel in those vehicles are completely filled, what's going to be the impact? We're going to show you all that on the touch screen. Then next, we'll show you a clear comparison between how much money you are spending if the E-Levy was still around, if you did your entire mobile money transactions, and how much money you are spending with this one. We will indicate, of course, that this one, it being petroleum, has a multiplier effect, whereas E-Levy may not have a natural multiplier effect. This has a natural multiplier effect because movement of people and movement of goods always adds to the prices. So we're going to... Kojo Poku, the former presidential candidate, said something very interesting. Now, his point is that the government had made projections on their budget with the dollar at 15. That's the projection the government made, according to Kojo Poku, the presidential candidate. He says that because the dollar is now doing, the cedi is now doing so well, and it's at 10 actually, the projections of the government have a 30% short hole. What does that mean? Government of Ghana earns a lot of dollars. When we sell gold, we sell oil, we sell cocoa, and other small exports. We get dollars. So every quarter we expect some dollars from international markets. So if $200 million is coming into the government of Ghana, what does the government of Ghana use the money for? The government of Ghana changes that money to cedis, and that's what will go to Accountant General, will pay nurses, will pay teachers, will pay doctors, will pay soldiers, will pay police, and all of that. So if you do your budgets with the projection of 15, the dollar at 15, then you know that the $200 million that is coming in April, if your budget is in March, $200 that's coming in April represents times 15. And then you can make adjustments for allowances to some of these people so that they can all enjoy the Ghana. If you made those projections with the budget in March, and now the $200 million is coming at 10, then you have a hole based on the projections you made and based on the analysis you made. So he's making an interesting point that this levy is not about that. This levy is to cover that hole. Is that interesting? Have a look at the video.
What I want to say is that if you are looking at the energy sector, this 1 cedi that is coming on is not to solve any doomsday in the energy sector. It is as a result of the government shaving 30% of its expense. So all these things that we keep talking about, oh, the dollar has gone down, the dollar has gone down. Kojo Poku has been very consistent that with the dollar going down and the cedi appreciating, government cannot fund its budget. And it's with the certificate of emergency the government introduced yesterday to try and raise 1 billion. And my brother Duncan, the government is not collecting 1 cedi. The government is collecting 2 cedis. As per the budget, they introduced 95 pesos. With this new addition, it is 1.95 on petrol, 1.93 on diesel. So the total collection in the year is 1 billion Ghana cedis, $1 billion that the government is collecting per year. You want Ghanaians to pay an extra 1 billion Ghana cedis every year through petroleum taxes. Already we are paying electricity. There should be some problem in the Ministry of Finance. Because when the minister read his budget, he clearly knew what his projections were. He read the budget using 15.4. Now he has lost 30% of his revenue and he needed money. So this certificate of urgency yesterday has got nothing to do with the energy sector. It was just government taxing the Ghanaians to basically run his budget. So let's not anybody try to make this thing an energy sector conversation.
I have a quick question for you, Kojo. You say it is government trying to run its budget. The energy sector debt that we have, is it part of our economic baggage? Is it part of our budget? Is it part of... Kojo, let me land. When someone is asking a question, let the person land, and then you can come through with your response. What is being done? All these loopholes that must be plugged, whether or not it's going to solve the situation, because as the permutations stand, will not clear that debt this year or the next year. But is it, by extension, to resolve our economic challenges, part of which the energy sector debt is a part of, or not?
Okay, so there's two things that needs to happen. One, the government needs to come out and tell us that he has ring-fenced that debt from the ECG. So then the energy sector in the ECG, see, today as we speak, we keep talking about the energy sector indebtedness in the energy sector. What Honorable Forson came to do in Parliament was to get GRA to collect money. That goes to Consolidated Fund. That goes to Ministry of Finance. The person who pays the energy sector indebtedness is ECG. So when the IPPs are owed, the person that has contract with the IPPs is ECG. So what the government should tell us today is that he is ring-fencing all the energy sector indebtedness to MOF, Ministry of Finance. So then we know that there is no indebtedness in the energy sector. So that conversation goes away. Unless somebody comes and tells us that that money is not for the energy sector, it is for taxes to run the government. Because today, if the Honorable Jenapo wants money to buy fuel, he has to go to Ministry of Finance and apply to the Ministry of Finance for money. If we are saying that this one cedi, which is now being collected, is to clear the energy sector indebtedness, then it will be treated like the way we did the price stabilization recovery levy. It will be put in a specified fund and be accountable to Parliament how that money is disbursed. Until we do that, it is not for the energy sector. When money goes into the consolidated fund, it's for the Ministry of Finance to spend it as he wish. So if we want to solve the energy sector indebted, now another point that we should make, they keep saying that the energy sector indebtedness is 3.1 billion as at March. You have been collecting 95 pesos a litre since you read the budget. Where has that money gone? What have we reduced out of the money that exists? At this rate, if you are going to collect 2 cedis on every litre, as it is now in the law, as passed by Parliament yesterday, in every year, you will rake in $1 billion. In 2 years, you will have cleared all the debt in the energy sector. Now, will Ghanaians have to stop paying that high electricity prices because the energy sector indebtedness is no more, because we are paying something on the electricity prices, which is the losses that we have in the energy sector on the electricity prices that we are paying. So the issue I want Ghanaians to understand is that that exercise yesterday in Parliament was not for the energy sector, because from the majority leader, he said that we are introducing one cedi on a litre to stop doing so. Ben, you and I agree, and you've said this several times, that there's no doom so. So if there's no doom so, why does somebody need 1 cedi to square and solve something that doesn't exist? Honorable John Jenapo has told us several times through his PRO that there's no doom so. Why do we need 1 cedi?
Okay, so you heard that. That was Kojo Poku. Very, very interesting. We have to continue to investigate that. Is it true that the dollar situation is making the government need more money? Because when it receives dollars, it's getting less than it had anticipated in the budget. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting question.